Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. Usual. Thank you very much. Good morning, good day. We welcome you back, even though we have a small technical problems. But it doesn't affect the knowledge of the creation of what we're trying to understand more about ourselves and how life is around us. We call it the cosmic ray. But as we are filling up the dots in the mosaic of the knowledge of the creation, but it doesn't affect the knowledge of the creation factor of what we're trying to understand more about ourselves and how every single one of us life is around us from the cosmic ray point of inception as we are till point of death, the dots till mosaic of the knowledge of the during but every second of our lives. We have ignored this because, as usual, it's been there too long, we've taken it for granted. But we have not understood what this means. We just call it planet Earth. We just call it, we are born on it. We just call it another planet in the solar system. But because nothing more touches us in there too long as part of the mosaic of the work. But then we have not understood the soul of this, what this means. Celestial object, planet Earth. We just call it, we are born on it. We have never considered planet in the solar system. We have never come to think about it. We are born on it, touches us, die on it, we leave the remains of what we enjoy every day of our life in it, and we just don't think about it. But nothing more than what we call cosmic ray, the plasmatic field of the whole of the creation, the whole of the universe affects our physicality and our soul than the soul of this planet. But nothing more. It dictates our shape. It dictates our emotion. It dictates if we become a dog, a man, a tree, stone, plant, gold, silver, whatever the universe. But we just take it for granted. Well, the fundamental point with this is that the soul of this entity affects our soul, how we depart from it, how far we can go in this solar system if our soul is positioned in it, or anywhere in the universe and the universe. Is that elastic string attached to our soul? That line, which in the future we come back to it, is the umbilical cord of our soul. It dictates our existence. None of us, nor the dog, nor your physical body, can exist without its presence, because we are created out of it. Our soul has become the soul of physicality of the soul of the planet that is given us the shape and the position as we are. Our soul of physicality gives it the dimension of the arm and the leg. The soul of the planet, in interaction with the soul of the man, gives our position, its structure, how much element can hold and how it can hold. In so many ways, We are part of the inertial structure of this cosmic ray structure we call the Earth, and what we call the fields of this planet, the soul of this planet. We are so ignorant of its effect and control on our lives that we have totally dismissed it. It's just another planet. It's just we happen to be on it. In so many ways, it dictates the lifespan of us. The physical lifespan is dictated by the soul of this planet. It's what it allows to achieve, it allows to reach, it allows for us to gain from it in the position, the time, and the place we are in. Without it, we don't exist. It's a chain of events. As the soul of the planet, what we call the plasmatic magnetic field within the center of the planet itself is connected to the star. The central core, the central structure plasmatic of this is the star of our soul. It has, it lives, is connected to it. In so many ways, when we travel the span of the universe in the dimension of transmutation, it's that which brings us back. Is that which goes us home? Is that when we travel the span of the universe, we want to go back to Earth? We follow that magnetic field. It has a specific strength. It has a specific core that it spans the whole of the universe. This is not exclusivity of Earth. Every planet has the same. When we travel into another dimension, when we travel to the moon, when we go to another solar system, when we travel another dimension, the magnetic field, what we call the soul of this planet, dictates our manifestation in that place, position, and time and the place, and the strength of it. We, as the human race in planet Zeus, will manifest in the shape of the humans or the beings of the planet Zeus, but will be brownish. Oh, these are from Earth. As the same as we are different colors and shapes, and we say this is from Africa, this is from Asia, and the rest of it. The soul of this planet has such a profound connection and hold on the performance of our soul and its presentation in the dimension of manifestation of the being, existence, conformation in transmutation, that man has to understand planet Earth absorbs the fields of the sun, interacts in dimension of the field. It chooses what it likes to have and what it doesn't like to have. This is what I can have for my citizens. I don't want the element which is in the universe. It's no use to my citizens. It's no use to the body of human. It's no use to the body of the oceans and the fish and the tree. It's the soul of the planet which decides what us as being absorb from the universe, absorb from the unicos, absorb from the solar system. We have not understood, and now we have to understand. The reason is that we have to replicate this field of strength. We have to understand the performance of it, because once we understand this, how it works, then we can travel the span of the universe. Then we can make the fish tank up to see how we look on the Mars and the moon, because we are still attached to this. And that is the condition of the local environment. But still, the soul of this planet dictates on the manifestation of our soul, because it's got the string on us, how we look, how we mutate to be able to live, that we can mutate to come back to be what we are. We don't go as a human and come back as a dog. It's the DNA information in the structure of manifestation, but it's the RNA of the control, the information. If the scientists understand this, as we do, as we are trying to understand more of it in the cycle of the what we call life of the cosmic rays, fields of the creation, then we can take a step further in creating, in understanding, and in developing new technologies. Not in the matter state, technologies in the dimension of cosmic rays, in the dimension of no. When you come to understand this point, the effect of the soul of the earth on the soul of the man, in a way of what we call the soul of the planet, affects, interacts with our soul, and then the effect of an interaction of our soul with the soul of physicality in interaction with the inertia which the planet allows for conformation of the matter state, manifest every cell of our body. This is why we had a havoc with Corona. It is an outside, not dictated, is energy not confirmed, not solidified in inertia of the physicality of this planet. In a way, the soul of physicality, if you understood, is the inertia field force of the body of the man. The same as the inertia for manifestation of the matter state of this planet. Its existence, its conformation has to be understood for man to be able to transmute, for man to be able to transfer, for man to be able to go to the next step of living. There will be amazing pressure on the scientist in an upcoming time when man goes into space. As I said recently in the meeting, would you like to go to the moon and cuddle and greet and have a picnic in a monkey suit? Would our body stand the field radiation of the space? We have sent robots on the moon and Mars. We haven't sent the physical man. For sure, man will be touched by the radiation field. To live in a space, man has two choices: to create a safety dome, to protect his environment as on Earth, or to transmute to be the animal manifestation of time, place, possession, and position. Otherwise, we are another prisoner in the dimension of wherever. We cannot go out, we cannot interact, we cannot touch the ground we land on, and then we see the mayhem, the lies, and the cheats we saw with Apollos. Because in reality, if we understood the totality, man should understand how much the soul of the planet Earth controls, affects every dimension of the life on this planet, on the manifestation of the man, on control of the structure of the soul of the man. Our DNA is not dictated just because our father and mother put an egg and sperm together. is dictated by the soul of this planet. This is what I can support to give life to. When you look at the presentation in Beijing last May, the materials moved from the center. We gave the components to everyone. 100 spoons or so was given of the material produced. And if you look, today there is none. They're all mostly evaporated in the dimension of energy, even though they're in a sealed plastic and they're in a sealed box. Because the central energy focus of the system, which was set up, is not there to hold on to it. The soul has gone. The production of the material has become that vapor. Because in the process of production, we did not place the inertia to convert it to. We used the inertia of the earth to manifest, but we did not give it the inertia of the soul for it to stay. In other systems, we give that structure to it. We create the dimension of inertia. And our materials stays for years. Because we create that condition. And it's the same with us. If man understands the importance, not actually the importance, the vital connection between the soul of the earth, between the soul of the man, between the soul of physicality of the man, man can change himself to any shape, color, any shape, structure, any shape, emotion. And what you mix will create a new dimension of manifestation. Once we understand this, and this is part of the transmutation technology which the scientists have to put together to be able to bring about a dimension that we can break into the technology of transmutation. We've seen it. We understood, but we do not have the knowledge to put it. I was talking to two space scientists in the past few days. Doctors, highly intelligent. And I explained to them the same structure. Why man has problem with the present space technology. How we have to adopt our systems to become part of the bigger structure in understanding the field effect on our soul, not on our physicality. We wrapped a clothing, we put man in a spacesuit to protect the physicality of the man. But all we need to do is to handle the soul of the man. You don't need to wrap it in nothing. We have to understand the energy transfer. We have to understand that our physical body, in elevation of our soul, will not accept the condition of the time, place, possession, and position. Because what we enforce, what we introduce will dictate that. The physicality of the man has no manifestation, no control. I explained this to the space scientists this week. I said, very simple. You're injured. You're a football player. They put your legs, they put your arms in a plaster. You don't move for 6 months, 3 months, whatever. You've broken a leg. You need weeks of physiotherapy to get the muscle tissues moved, to get the ligament moved. They call it rehabilitation, that you learn and then gradually go. If you understand the concept of the interaction of the soul, as we see with Naomi, as we saw in the first time with Naomi in the hospital after a month that she couldn't move anything, as we've seen with many people who had paralysis for years, the minute we interact, they walk. The minute we touch through the plasmatic, what we call cosmic ray technology with them, there is no rehabilitation. A man in a wheelchair after years walks. Does not need the massages, training, and the rest of it. Because we touch the structure of the emotion through the soul and not through the physicality. When I saw this the first time 20 odd years ago, I said, what have we missed? What is the problem that we need so much? I went to the scientists in Liverpool University, husband and wife, that they brought in psychological training. I sat with them. I tried to understand, and I said, there is something missing in this. Man does not understand that he can transfer the soul of connection of the soul of the man to the soul of the planet, that then the planet, it creates you zero gravity, if you want to call it. You can walk. The physicality does not matter. These two scientists in Liverpool University brought a fantastic technology out. It's part of the training now for a sportsman. That time, 20 odd years ago, was something new. But they still can't do it because they say if you sit and think you move without moving and then you move, you can move without any exercises. You don't need to move a leg. Using the energy within the structure of the body of the man. But this wasn't an answer. The answer lied in somewhere else because we work with central energy. It's that in a way, if you look at it, in interaction with the soul of the man, with the soul of planet, a new environmental condition is created that the physical dimension does not count. We have videoed this. We have shown how people who've been paralyzed, people who bed, people who have coma for years, within a day or two, they move. Doctor says it's impossibility. When I went to Iran, I was put in a secure environment, locked up, but in a community. I went for a walk. I saw an 18-year-old girl, or a young girl, what I found later, she was 18, in a wheelchair. Beautiful girl, extremely intelligent. I walked to her. I said, what's wrong? She said, I had an accident. I fell through the window of a car. My brother is paralyzed neck upstairs in the bedroom. I said, can I see? They took me to see the boy. He's there with all these oxygen machines and everything. He's paralyzed from neck down. But she said, I'm not in that state, but I walk. I approached the office of the Ahmadinejad. I said, I want to touch this girl. I can get her going. I said, you're here for a space only. Do not touch anything else. I said, I cannot see a young girl being in a wheelchair. I asked for part of my system to be shipped from that time Belgium to Iran. It was brought in by FedEx. Within a few days, I built a system. I could see I have to touch the soul. This girl, for the first time on the machine, the first day after a year or two of paralysis, started moving. They panicked. They put her in an ambulance. They took her to Khomeini Center Hospital. And every part of the body was moving. They said, what's happening? They said, we use this system and everything moves. I was called into the office of Ahmadinejad's research and says, you were told not to touch this. I said, but the girl can walk. Doesn't need to be on the wheelchair. No pain. She felt no pain. The only shock was she was moving. Arms and legs were moving. Because we understand the process of the interaction of the soul of the planet connected to the soul of the man, which means the body goes beyond the inertia, beyond the physicality of the life. It changes dimension of what we call energy structure of the sealed body of the man. Our body inside our skin is a vacuum, and it's got its own dimension, which the soul of the man dictates its manifestation. In interacting, understanding, changing the strength of the interaction of the field of the soul of the planet to the body, we have created a new dimension inside the body, which means the muscle pain doesn't exist. This saw that with Naomi. We've seen that many times with the people in coma. If we understand this, if we understand, we just call it the gravity of the earth. We just call it the atmosphere of this planet. These are manifestations of the cosmic rays, magnetic fields of the soul of this planet, and we just dismiss it as nothing because we haven't had the intelligence to understand if we play with these fields, we change man. We change these fields with the interaction of the place, altitude, or whatever, plus the inertia of the local material, which converts the matter, we become black, blue eyes, and everything else. We have dismissed the knowledge of creation, and we need to understand, because when we go to another place, transmute to another time and place, we need to know how our soul interacts with the soul of the planet, that we become black when we are in Africa, white we are in the North European, and Chinese when we are in China. This is the mutation of what we call Darwin theory of evolution in the dimension of the science of understanding the process of the fields of the soul of the planet. In the book one, I touched on this. Read book one, go on it. When I start explaining about the mass and the weight, where the surface of the planet decided, how is decided, why some planets in some sections are liquid and some sections are solid, why even the magma is in that state and the heat. If you take the crust of this planet and put the magma to move the gravitational field of the Earth slightly higher and then reduce what we call magnetical field lower, will shine like a star, because the magma will become the surface. And if we change that slightly more to go further up, we have gases exactly plasmatic condition in dimensional rotation, we become another star. This is how our soul, at a point of departure, in interaction with the soul of the planet, shines white. This is magma, it is atmosphere with no dimension of matter state, because the soul of physicality within it has not got the strength to confirm manifestation of inertia for it to complete itself at a point of time, place, and position. In interaction with the soul of emotion, man will manifest itself in the time, place, and position. When you turn a magnet, the other one turns. When you change, you interact with the dimension of what we call the soul of the man with the soul of the planet, you enter a Chinese environment which has created those styles, short body and everything else, the emotion of Chinese and understanding. Then when a magnet turns, the other one turns, you tune automatically into the knowledge of China. You don't need to go to university if you understand it. Man doesn't need to learn a language. Man doesn't need to learn a culture. All it needs is change the field strength of his souls to the dimension of the place and position. If I change, we've seen that in Corona, how some people, some Chinese changed face, they went black. Because what we call the virus strength of the Corona in the dimension of interaction with the soul created that condition exactly like they were in Africa. We've seen it but never understood it. Now that we are forcing the knowledge of the man into transmutation, we have to understand it because we have to create it, because it's a dimension of understanding of the totality of the knowledge of the creation. Then goes to the point, I want to go to Africa. I'm a white man. I have to create the emotion magnetic field of the soul of the earth using my spirit to create the dimension of physicality of the understanding the culture of the black, which is part of the RNA of the culture. We haven't understood anything about the creation, and we call us the head of the kingdom of the creation. A fool does this. And who has nothing thinks is everything, as we have seen in some leaders of the world today. As I recently, in past few days, said in one of the presentations, man, ignorance has become his demise. Man's arrogance has become his downfall to understand the process of creation. For those of you who try to transmute, you want to go somewhere, try to create emotion that it fits not only to the emotion of the soul of the man, but has to create to the dimension of emotion of the soul of creator. Otherwise, what happened? The soul of the earth go to another, you're exactly the same as here. Englishman in middle of Africa. Do you know what the African says? A dog, a crazy man, an Englishman goes for a walk at noon. Because they don't understand the heat, they don't understand the culture. If you're Americans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you go on the coast of California in the winter, who's in the water except Canadians because they came from the north, the snow, this is warm. But you lot don't go in the water, it's too cold. This is what you say, these are Canadians. You stand the same. But if we understand the culture, if we understand the culture of the soul, if we understand the culture, the knowledge of creation in the dimension of the fields and energy, the universe is oyster for all of us. We spend more time in killing than killing the pride to be a man, but putting energy in understanding the process of the creation of the man. It's the same when you go out of this galaxy. When you go to another position, it's the same. Your soul has the same headache as you trying to do physicality when departs the body of the man. It's a slingshot effect. It's something there. Your soul has a position, depends what is gathered, it goes to there. but it's still got the string attached to the soul of the planet. It's got the string attached to the soul of the galaxy, string attached to the soul of the solar system and everything else. And each one has a field of strength. This is why when you put a magnet on the table, it finds its position in respect to every other magnet on the table. There's no difference. We are another plasmatic magnetic field instead of being in a solid state in the pole of the energy. So those of you, and for those of the knowledge seekers who are involved in the space technology of the Keshe Foundation, will be in the future, you have to remember, teaching of 633, and take everyone. Have I considered the field, the strength of the soul? Have I considered the field, the strength of the spirit? Have I considered the field of the inertia of the matter state? Have I considered the field, the strength of the soul of the earth, the soul of the solar system, the soul of the galaxy, the soul of the universe? Then where I go. And if I can repeat those, and if I can do that, this is the extent fuel that I can understand and go to and come back to be able to replicate. Even though your soul can go, but your knowledge, lack of knowledge, does not allow you to, because you haven't understood. And if you do this, and you understand this, and you can do the same thing with the soul of the moon, here, there, in instantaneous condition, not days in a tank of the fuel of rocket fuel to get there. Then we don't need to lie, because we understand that underlying knowledge of the creation. And this connection of the man, the soul of the man with the soul of the planet, is one of the first steps. You have to understand the ratios. You have to understand the interaction of the fields. Then you go to the next step. You have to understand the interaction of the compression of the fields in the matter state. You have to understand the compression of the fields in the energy state. You have to understand the compression of magnetic fields in the dimension of both ways, gravitational and magnetical, for it to be able to create the dimension of what you call the black hole. What is a black hole to you is the light star to another person, another creature. We all don't see red the same color. If I show you an orange and I give you the spectrum of the colors of oranges, out of 100, maybe 2 of you will choose the same color, because every one of us sees orange in different spectrum. It's the same with the soul of the man. It's the same with the soul of the planet, soul of the solar system, and the rest. We have to find that to adjust it. How many times you played and somebody says, this is red, and you say, no, this is not red, this is orange or pink or whatever. No, this is red. There's something wrong with your eyes, you don't see the color. It's something wrong with the knowledge of creation, you don't understand, so you blame it on the others. Those of you who are contemplating on transmutation, now you have been given another key. But you have to understand the emotion of the planet. You have to understand the emotion of the man, that you can connect the two, the emotion of the soul of the man. 3, then you can move across this planet. You come to Africa, you'll be black, you understand the culture and the food. You go to China, you change it because there is a change, otherwise you won't be Chinese, okay? Da-da-da, and the rest, you become a penguin, to the cat, to the stone, to the gold, and to the tree. Now, is the responsibility of the future scientists, of the plasma technology, cosmic ray technology, and the knowledge of the future to come, that this knowledge, these understanding have to be explored. Then you understand the next step in the process of the creation. Then you understand how you transmute. Then you understand what is the position of the man in the cycle of transmutation. Man has to understand the work of the soul of the planet to be able to transmute across this planet in true way. Then you have to understand the structure of the soul of the moon, the structure of the interaction of the soul of the solar system with the moon, that when you appear there, is there. When you see a UFO, it means that in the same intelligent bracket as you and me, as I've said many times. When you see manifestation of the creation creature, then you understand and understood the process the man does without any machinery, without playing game. Then man's soul become the machine, man's soul become the tool, man's soul become the structure of the traveling of his soul, not his physicality. Man needs to understand the field strength of the emotion. How many of you in past months you've been with us and you push yourself through have gone to understand the emotion, the dimension of your transmutation? The emotion which creates it. You're so eager to go, you don't sit still to understand. I tried this frequency, I tried that emotion. If I get a bit angry, if I create fear, if I create something else, did I do when I hold that dimension? I go somewhere, I do something. Emotion of detachment. Does it allow my body to be separated? We all knew this. Our ancestors knew this. Our ancestors, we have scientific data recorded how we have an arm trapped under a stone. Our ancestors didn't die, we die because we are trapped. We got an arm between the wood and the stone and we cannot move. Our ancestors, the first, that's like the lizards, they could think and separate the arm at the point of the joint and rebuild it. This is what we see with reptiles. It was an exclusivity of them. Every created thing on this planet, living, had that knowledge. As I said, you will see very soon. It takes less than $1, maybe a few dollars. Finger gets chopped off. Now you don't have any use of it. It's there, it's gone. If you can stitch it, microsurgery. It should be a system in the fridge of every doctor, $1. Oh, you cut a finger. In 6 months, you have your finger. Don't worry. You don't need to take tablets. If you understand this, which very soon you will see in the structure of the Keshe Foundation work, you don't have a kidney, you have your kidney is taken out. We create a condition that the kidney grows in space because the emotion of the survival, the emotion of the creation, the emotion of the environment in the body of the man connects with the soul of the emotion of the man and creates things. You've seen this done with the brain of Naomi. We've seen this done with fingers and toes. It's not a magic, it's understanding the process of the creation in the dimension of cosmic rays and the plasmatic condition of the structure. Then we go to the next step, to understand how this is created, how we can create it. And hopefully in the March session, which is now transferred to April, we'll test this process. How many of you will go through the emotion of the connection to the field strength transmutation of the soul of the planet, that it can move on this planet. We take you for a test ride. As I said, with the space scientists in the past few days, we cannot do because we have the technology, but we don't have the computers to control it. The combination of it all. We need AIs, what we call computer scientists, to program this, that it works faster than our understanding of electronics, perceives, understands, creates a condition that is this to that place. It creates the soul emotion that man can move immediately. It's the same with our space technology. We can make the material, but the data, the systems cannot be controlled. The computers are too slow. We need future prediction plus the present to see where it can be replicated through the soul of the system, not the dimension of movement of the system. Perceiving the manifestation of the soul in a dimension of place, position at the same time together. So, knowledge seekers, now you know why you cannot transmute so easy. You go and you cannot manifest. It took us years to understand this, and it sounds like one teaching of 633. To create that dimension, to create a condition of emotion, for transmutation of the soul of the man in connection with the soul of the planet. Otherwise, we'll still be busy with it. We're making systems, but we cannot. We move the soul, but we can't move the physicality because a part of the knowledge was missing. I hope you learned something today. And I'm sure those of you who join us in transmutation, for the April, as the March is postponed, we have to build systems for it, to be able to do this. We have to create that through your headphones. That we create the dimension of the soul of the planet. For you to be able to go to the dimension you are, speak the language, change to the skin color and the dimension. I cannot manifest you as a man when your soul takes you to a rat hole and you sit with the rats. Now you understand. Then this goes back to the teaching, and many things the time will come when the lion and the lamb will sleep in the same den, with the soul of them and not their physicality, if you understood the teaching of today. As they're all the same. They decide how to manifest, and the soul is exactly from the same source and dimension. We go for a break. We're trying to answer. We have some technical problems with Rick due to electricity or power supply. If that happens, we say goodbye. If not, we try to carry to answer some of your questions. Rick, can you do anything, or do you want to just go directly into questions?
I'll give it a try here and see if a couple of my ads will play. So,
yeah.
Thank you for bearing with us here today, folks. And I think Mr. Kesh's transmission came through very clearly, though. So we were good on that. And now we'll have an intermission and come back with questions. And like to ask.
Are you okay?
Sorry, I had my microphone turned off there, Mr. Kesh. Welcome back to our second part, everyone, and we'll have an opportunity to ask questions here in a couple of minutes. Mr. Kesh will have a few things to say first, and we do have a hand up here and some questions in the Q&A ready to go. So please go ahead, Mr. Kesh. Hello. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Yes.
now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so thank you very much. There's a few announcements we have to make. For those of you who signed up for the 3 sessions, the March session is delayed to April. It's already, you receive a note for it. We want to test something new. As you know, we just don't do because we say so. We are setting up new structures, and it has to be, once we understand, to be transferred to the transmission we'd like to do. On the other hand, what we call the resin packages, I was told to announce that now has been made back to the 250, 500 and 1,000 euro packs for Easter. There's still time to order for the shipment. What we call looking for qualified people in the scientific world. Many of you have written to us. We know your background does not fit into what we want. But if you have connection with anybody in any dimension of the scientific world, we're still looking for experts. We're not looking for knowledge, because what just happened to be in the structure of the work of the Keshe Foundation at the very advanced research level. Info at Keshe Foundation is your point, and at the same time, please remember that next week's teaching is to 6 o'clock in the evening, Central European time, not the 9 o'clock in the morning. And we try to, at the same time as we promised, by 21st of March, bring into operation the game to its normal level, as our structure is set up to. That it'll be announced hopefully in the future, as there is a discussion going in the back that with the coins you can buy flight sessions and other things. In a way, we accept your coins for certain services of the Keshe Foundation initially to start with, which gives you a lot of leverage on other things. This will can in the future include the flight systems and transportation and transmutation and the rest of it, which means when you play the game and then you with it can buy what are called transmutation tickets and whatever else. It might be as part of the Keshe Foundation work. There is a lot of things in the pipeline, and as usual, when we get to it, when it's completed, we'll in a way divulge to you that what we're going and what needs to be done. But the structure of the knowledge has to be opened up, and in the coming time, we are on the verge of massive changes inside the Keshe Foundation, thanks to the support of knowledge seekers. A new dimension, a new what we call structure of the Keshe Foundation will emerge in 26, 27. That, as usual, we keep everything till is and what it is, and as much as is needed is released and brought to your attention, or you'll see it as what we call as part of the structure of the work of the Keshe Foundation. If there are any questions, we can answer let me know, and we try to answer.
Okay, very good. Well, Stefania had a comment that she felt a childish emotion in myself and in everything around me as I received this knowledge today. Thank you.
That's normal with her, isn't it? If you know Stefania the way we do, this is her, that's her beauty. She is free from the shackles of the life, the way a lot of us. We had the pleasure to have her with us in Africa and in China. And you see that in her. So that's not an unusual position for her. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question in the chat from Mika, and he's also has a hand up though, so I assume that he's going to ask his question. And it's always better direct from the person's mouth. So let's allow him to talk, and please go ahead.
Thank you, Rick. And greetings, Mr. Kesh, Universal Council and knowledge seekers across the planet and throughout the Unicos. Last week, you taught that the children of Mitra are created through the field strength of the soul, and that the Creator still creates new life after trillions of years through its field alone, through what you call the wish of giving. My question, what is the wish of giving made of? What is its essence, its field strength? And how does man learn to hold that same wish within its own soul so that it too can create life the way the Creator creates? Is what we experience as love the same substance as the Creator's wish? Or is love simply the closest word man has found for something the soul has always known, but mouth has never been able to speak? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The reality is, it's always been there. We do not understand it. And the more we created religions, the further we became from it, because they were supposed to handle it and we are just the users. And those who were supposed to handle it, they never understood themselves, so we walked away more and more from it. The biggest problem with human race is not knowing the love the way, or creation the way the Creator did. The biggest enemy of the man is the fear of the man. When you use fear, you take the beauty of giving. We are afraid that if we give, we have nothing to live. If we give, there will be nothing there for the future. And we, even in our physical life, we save that one day is needed. And the fear they have created for us with the dimension of love, that is the punishment, is this and that, has been the main obstacle for man to understand the emotion of the Creator. And once we take the element of the fear away from the man and give him the pleasure of giving, or the love, man will move to the position of assessing himself in what it is and how he decides to use his soul for the dimension of the anything, transmutation, creation, or anything else. In China, many Chinese, depending on the culture they come, when they get married, they go to a process, the couples, before they have a child. It's very common. Our Chinese community people tell you, when I met the guy first time, a couple, a man who was married and he was trying to have a child, and he explained to me, I said, I don't eat this, I don't do that. I said, why? He says, I'm planning to have a child. And for 6 months or whatever, I go through this process like a purification of the body of the man, that the child is perfect. But He doesn't look what is sitting in his DNA. He doesn't touch alcohol. He doesn't do, there's a lot of ritual. Chinese community friends can tell you. Some of the couples in China go through this. In the best, we have a child. Creating the children of Mitra, creating the soul out of the love of the creation in the dimension of energy needs the same preparation. Man has to prepare itself to give from the energy of his soul. Then, are you 100? Are you 50? Are you 20? It doesn't matter. A 60-year-old, 90-year-old woman still can be a child. As a man can, even they say he cannot produce anything. You train your body, you train your soul to what I call give in the energy of the soul of the man as a love for the energy to be structured in a womb of the mother for the child to take dimension of physicality. That's all it is. Not being afraid of becomes the love, the giving. And now man, fear, emotional fear, is the lock in him to become the same as the Creator. Everything which you're afraid of is another lock on the key of connection to be loved. If I love, can be loved back. I'm 100. If I create a child through the emotion of the soul of man, would I be there to support it? God gives you, not a God, but your soul, accepting it, you last 200 years to see that child through. Because I accepted the soul of the creation, what I created. It's the same with the Creator. And we don't understand this. And religions use it to its maximum, to put fear in man, for man not to have, not to understand the love of giving, the love of creation the way the Creator does. If we never would have created out of the lack of in us, we never understood the structure of the creation, we created gods in the stone. And then those who saw gods in the stone created God in imagination, but the same fear. We sacrificed virgin girls for the rain to come. And every time we did, it came. And then if it didn't, we'd sacrifice another virgin. We sacrificed slaughtered animals. We did everything else except saying we are ignorant. It doesn't rain. There is something wrong. There is not enough clouds. And we can make it nowadays. We send an aircraft with bits in it and it rains. Now we sacrifice virgin hundreds of years ago to rain. Now we launch an aircraft and it spreads itself in a space and it rains. But it's the knowledge. If we had this knowledge, would we done this? Would we created a fear? This is something which takes years, centuries for man to understand. The shackle of fear has stopped man to love the way the Creator loves, has no fear. Is one of the emotions which does not exist in the vocabulary of the creation of the universe. Whatever comes, welcome. Is what I did when it came to Linz, if you remember. We don't have no fear. There is nothing we can criticize. We accept whatever you say because that's the dimension of the freedom of the soul of the man. And if we understand that, we'll be as loving as the Creator. Needs no dimension, but man put restriction, and when you put restriction out of fear, you see what will create. Those of you who've been around me close to the foundation always said, I have no fear. We serve humanity and somehow the Creator brings us to serve more. I'm never worried what's going to be the next, because the next is already, God has created soul for it to be there, to be organized, to next step, because if it's not there, we don't understand them, and then we do something wrong with it. And every step we learn. You take your fear out of the man, man will be the most loving thing in everything in the universe. We don't give love to our children because if we love them too much, they might become spoiled. What about if you give so much love to your child that it gives its beauty of its creation created to you? We even control how much we love the one we created. It's God that way. Because they put in if you give him too much, he becomes spoiled. Blah, blah. Spoil him with love and see what love does with it. Any other question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Cash.
All right, very good. Well, let's go to some of our other questions here. I've got just to find my notes here. Had a question from Trevor, who is wondering about the gloves. I think you mentioned some gloves. And he says, what I want to know is, what could the gloves create in someone that would change them on a fundamental level? Does it allow people to clear the survival lower range emotions like strife and struggle, grief and anger, and allow the user to be more connected to the love of their own soul and the love of the soul of the creator? And does it allow us to take the seat of the creator of our own life? And as in being able to change, heal, or optimize the body to display what our soul actually wants to manifest as, instead of what RNA is passed down through the actions, misguided or accidental, done to them or done overtly against them, and erase the need of choice in life to have to choose destruction and killing to confirm their existence in the world of creation of the creator, so that we can become the beacons of peace as the created.
What's the question?
Okay, maybe that's a bit much.
Your screen needs to be adjusted.
Okay, yes, I see that
something.
Now. Yeah. Got a cat coming through the window, just open up there. Okay, basically he wants to know, could the gloves create in someone change on a fundamental level that could be more fundamental even than the RNA that's passed down?
Can you explain what you mean by the glove?
The gloves. Gloves? Did you have did you mention some gloves in the last workshop?
Oh, back to it.
I think it was something about the fingers and perhaps a product that would be gloves in the future that could create that emotion of love.
What we talk about is how our nails, how our fingers are receptive. And in so many ways, the way we create filters to send, we create filters to receive. There is a structure which we understand, that we can filter or we can create certain plasmatic fields. Have you ever, maybe some of you have, maybe some of you don't, this structure comes out of reality and understanding. Have you ever been touched by a stranger and that touch has given you certain emotion? Loving, hating, regretting. We can create those things. We can create, we can not develop, development is not there. We can create very much structures that can give that emotion. Many of you, all of you today are part of that test, part of that process. If you look at the backgrounds of the work of the foundation, we now know the field strength of the emotions in the soul of the man and the field emotion of the physicality of the man. And we can create that condition. We can transfer, transmit in a plasmatic condition the emotion of love. And we associate love with touch, with emotion of feeling love to give. And these kind of the structures will be part of the future work, because we don't know how this came out of understanding, being in touch with people who say they don't know what love is. But if they create a condition that they can receive that love and touch someone with the love, they change the emotion in themselves. They change the emotion inside themselves and the person they touch. When a simple touch, it changes life. And how now it's like a disability which man has, but man does not know how to do. And these are structures, these kind of, in the next 2 or 3 years, we will release hundreds and thousands of products within the structure of the Keshe Foundation. Some beyond imagination, some beginning of the structure to understand more how. And some in the process of the understanding of how to create emotions through not only gloves, it's even in the emotion. We try in the work of the foundation to move away from matter state into the field state, and we are running tests in separate parts of the foundation that when you come, for example, in a room, you can feel the emotion of love. You can feel the emotion of, you don't need to wear a glove. This is emotion of the whole body of the man to go in that position. And this changes people. So when we talk about the glove, when we talk about the structure, we now look at the field. And one of the things which will come into our process, we tested it 2 weeks ago, if I was correct, if I'm correct. We know that compression, and now we add a new dimension in our research in the next few days, which can convert that emotion as a field into the physical dimension of actual feeling it, how you convert it. It's the new development in our structure, something I tested years ago, and now we are bringing it into operation. That we change the whole environment. You go into the room, it's like psychedelic drugs, but this is the energy of love, energy of giving, and then our brain gets tuned into it, and we behave that way. I come from children of 60s and 70s. Many of you, if you've been born that way, at that time, you know what it means. Freedom to love and to be and to experience that is not open to our children today. Children of 70s and early 80s, if you're a teenager, are a race that will never repeat it because we felt that. And now we can create an environment to do that. Free to love, free to be part of, not be afraid of. And this is the part of the process. We are going into the next step since last week to create more environment than a physical structure that we can walk in, and we know exactly what to do. And we tested this. I was going over the data of the Valentine. I was going over the data of the week after Valentine, the week after, and what I received from the knowledge seekers who've been in the tests. And it can be done. Not it can be done. It can be taken to the next step. We receive only emotion of the length of loving, and we transmit love. We receive love. I sometimes say humans are born to experience, to understand. And you have to understand when you're in love with someone and someone says, I don't know what love is. And you say, how is it possible? Then now I understand what I heard years ago. We are selective in what we love and selective who we say we love. Now with this technology, with what we have, we love everyone, and everyone can give, convert even the what I call emotion of hate back into loving, that they receive it back. It's very, very, very interesting. I've met 2 or 3 people in my lifetime that they say we don't know what love is. And they live by it, it's not just a word. But they selectively love certain things. Why do we fall in love and fall out of love? How do we connect ourselves to it? How do we create that emotion? Now we understand it. One of the field strength which we continuously receive from space, from cosmic rays, is a field strength. It has a specific strength that creates man to love, because that's is in a different. We have discovered that bandwidth of the field. we can play with it, and we can see how we don't need to change things, but we can create an environment that brings that change. And the only thing which blocks it is our emotion. We have an emotion set in our body that blocks this to be, and has made man a killing machine. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. We have a couple of hands up here, but before we get there, let's address one question from their Q&A from Guillaume, who says, hello, Rick. Hello, Mr. Kesh. About free will in respect of your teachings this morning, what depends on the human being if everything is from the soul of the planet?
Repeat, please.
About free will in respect to your teachings this morning, what is, I think, dependent on the human being if everything is from the soul of the planet?
Everything is not from the solar planet. We receive fields from it. It's us who decides how to react to it. It's another source of supply, or another source of interaction. When the magnetic field of the Earth, as a matter of state, interacts with the magnetic field of the sun, creates the light. And then that light decides if it's dark, start of the day, full day, and the after. And that light dictates the condition that this planet reacts. Clouds, rain, storms. Clouds and storms and everything else is not created just because the Earth does it, whatever. It's the interaction of the field of the Earth with the sun. It's the same with our soul. A field strength from the Earth interacts with our soul. It creates this manifestation of existence. It creates its clouds, it creates its storms, it creates emotions. We just look at the physical dimension, but if you take a magnet, a big magnet, and then you put little magnet, tiny ones, the dust of a magnet and a metal, they all interact with it. It's not just the big one. It's the same with the fields, which are at the strength of the soul of the man, interact with the field strength of the soul of the planet. It still creates its storms, it still creates its emotion. Is our comprehension of the reality, is our intellect, which bars us, blocks us to understand the similarity and confirmation of both. It's us which we see, oh, today is a sunny and now it's a rain, and then there is a storm. Where did the rain come from? Where did the storm come from? Isn't it because of the day when it was warm, water evaporated and it created the dimension of the motion and then goes on? The cause of our planetary, all the havoc in our weather comes from the magnetic field interaction of the sun with Earth in a physical dimension. Temperature, high, heat, day and night. How come we can't think, we can't even understand? It just doesn't create the fields that interacts only with the atmosphere of the Earth. It creates fields which interacts with the soul of the man. What a storm does it create? Why Africans are placid, Americans are aggressive, the Chinese are a different way. We receive different fields from it, and we interact with it. And if you understand this, then we understand the interaction of the storms which created by the interaction of the field of the earth with our soul, what condition it creates that we become disturbed people in interaction in the area we are, in community we are. Why we are certain way for certain races. And then we talk about man's soul dictates man's physicality. So the condition of the interaction of the fields with the inertial material which is in that environment, in interaction with the soul of the man, creates man. The food we eat, the altitude we live in, the condition we have accepted, then we understand we ignored the interaction of the soul of the planet with us, because in fact our races, our colors, our languages, our food is all dictated by it. Our features are dictated by it. But we ignore it. We just say, oh, there's a stormy weather, today is a date tonight. The day is a date. With you, light in the sky is the same. The interaction of the same fields with your soul. It's the light in your soul. Because now your soul as a plasma interacts with that sun directly. If it's a daylight, it's a daylight. How do you feel it? Why do we feel good in the summer and in the warmth? It just doesn't warm our body. The field of the sun touches our soul, and we always ignore that. And then we look at the structure. If man understands this, 90% of the cancers are curable, but we don't understand it. So we find a solution in chemicals for it, or we pay money to the church to save that guy's life because he had a cancer. What's the interaction of the field of the earth with it, and how it happened with this? Creation is very complicated. We just see what this suits us in the physical dimension. Any other question?
Very good, thank you. You see, we have two hands up from Antonio and Azar. Let's allow Antonio to go first, and then Azar. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Kesh.
Hey,
Good morning, Rick. Yeah, very good, thank you. And I just, my heart goes out to the people who lost their lives in the Middle East. And I hope that is resolved very soon. My question is with the crisis, the energy crisis in the world. And how fragile the economy is, that it's connected to fossil fuels, that this would be a good time for the cosmic ray technology to perhaps enter the arena?
We are working on it.
Mm-hmm.
We are working on, not to do because of the crisis. As I said before, in the past, Keshe Foundation was very open to explain a lot of it was doing. And now we are literally setting up different structure. We have set up different structure. And we're pursuing our own, what we call agenda, the way we wanted to. And in a way, what you say, I understand, but what we need to do is different than before. Otherwise, if we try to go the way it's gone before, we have the same problems. We need to, I know those of you who live in America, you've seen rises in your fuel, and those who live in other part of the world see this situation which has arisen. And but we have to look at the long term, and we are working on that long term.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but we have set up a structure, what we call steady, continuous, and we keep to this structure. We keep to this pattern. It's I'm not in it. We observe it. We advise it, but the structure is on its way. That what we were looking for decades to work the way it is has to be done. And in respect to the lives lost, there's many lives lost. But we have to, we are observers, and at the same time try to understand. The total loss in the past 12 days, to the estimate and the data we have, passes over 400,000 lives lost. Don't ask me how and what. Pardon?
They're not, the journalists are not reporting that how many have lost their lives, but I assume
you don't need to. You don't need the journalist. We are. You look. We're all intelligent. In Iran, when you see a bomb hit, what's there in building is hit. Who's there? The beauty with like Americans have lost over 20,000 civilian and soldiers in Middle East in past 12 days. 20,000. All the hospitals in Germany, in England, in France, all major hospitals are full with injuries brought in from Middle East. American soldiers, American citizens, Germans, Austrians, everybody else, whoever could not have been there has been hit. Bombs doesn't know nationality. We have what we have. And they say, it's very strange. When they hit somewhere, when it hit Israel, it's only few injuries. Do they think people are stupid? They put the signs on. You get in Israel, you get a text message or warning on your mobile phones. Every mobile phone when there's a missile coming. Then you get the alert. Then people go into underground safe houses in their rooms and the rest of it. Go back in some of the recently. Then we see high-rise buildings and nothing in the middle. What happened to the high-rise buildings which were there? There was nothing. Iran only hit, so the missiles only hit, what do you call it, green places on the streets in Israel? No, it hits blocks, 10, 20-story blocks. By law, they have to have some of them have these safe rooms. And by law, all of them have underground protection areas. What happens? The whole building goes. The whole structure collapses next door on these silos. I was talking to a diplomat, and a very powerful diplomat in the past few days. And it's sad to say, in the time of Hitler, they said Germans created gas chambers to kill the Jews. They, over 195,000 Jews, in the past 2 weeks, bombed. In the silos, they're suffocating under the lack of oxygen. Gas chambers in their own hand. They built these underground silos. These buildings collapse on top of it. There's nobody in the building. They're all in the silos underneath. Bomb shelters. Securities cannot get to. They suffocate. Future will tell us.
Yeah.
We have estimated huge number of Jews have died in these silos. Happened in 12-day war. We know the data. Second gas chambers by their own behavior, by their own conduct. Now, hundreds and thousands of people, you see, they show pictures of them dancing in the, underground safe places. When the buildings comes, the doors are locked. So tons of metal is on top of it. We have videos of it. We monitor what's going on. They just bury it. Missing people, you cannot talk. When the figure is 20,000, do you know how many people have died in the way? Do you know how many died in Bahrain? Huge numbers, vast numbers. They put their family, they put the children into these hotels from port of Dubai. Dubai management, the Americans own most of the Dubai port. All these Americans were put in this hotel. What happened when bombs hit? People missing. When it's missing, you don't need to announce them as they are dead. The figures will come afterwards.
Yeah.
They don't want to tell you the truth. We see that. Part of my work is this. I sleep 2-3 hours a day nowadays. American loss is in excess of 20, forget about the injuries, 20,000. Israeli loss is in excess of 195,000 people. They don't exist, so they've gone, they left the country, nobody asks. You know the story of the Christianity and the church and the orphanages, huh?
Yeah.
Children in orphanages have no name, they don't exist, you do whatever you like with them. Because they don't exist. Nobody asks, where is this person? They are in Dubai. He went, he never came home. These hotels in Dubai were not empty. It was full of families of the port of Dubai. That's why they moved their security, intelligence, everything, hiding in hotels. They hit thousands, 5,000 missions, bombs, according to President Trump, has been dropped on Iran.
Carpet bombing.
Let's say 3 people died in each bomb. 186 girls died in one school. Let's say 3. That's 15, 20,000. Losses are heavy. But you will understand very soon what I'm talking about in the near future. Every asset of the American government, American nation, every asset of the Israeli nation, plus Russia, will be frozen as the damages to be paid to the Iranian nation. The steps are taken. Every company, every organization owned by American government, owned by the Israeli nation, government or a nation, does not matter private or public, will be liquidated to pay for the war. Listen to what Khamenei said, the new Khamenei said. The new system doesn't wait for it. They have 30 days to settle.
Mm-hmm.
In a very short time, everything American. We saw this, what happened with Ukraine. We saw this, how the Russians liquidated the assets and sold everything to Chinese. There is no European assets in Russia anymore. Every asset of the Israeli government outside Israel, even in the Arab nations, will pay for the 5,000 bombs plus compensation, because we have a preset condition. The American companies like Microsoft, American organizations, big organizations, invested in around the world, their assets will be sold, liquidated to pay for this. And this will stop Americans ever attacking it, because we had a precedent. Now we do it. Now the war will not finish. You don't kill 186 children in one school and say they did it, and then it happens to be a Tomahawk missile, which is it, and then say it was a mistake.
This was a private school. Most of those girls were daughters of Revolutionary Guard.
Doesn't matter what they are. You don't kill children.
No.
You don't kill children, doesn't matter what they are. You don't kill anyone. Forget about it. But this, I have a position that I have to observe. I have a position as a Cash Foundation, as a structure which we never discuss. We sit, we watch, we advise, we sit with governments to see what's happening. The total loss very soon passes 500,000 in 12 days.
To be angry just thinking about the loss of life. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it is what it is. They lost 500,000 in Ukraine in 4 years. We lost 500,000 in 10 days. Yeah. These bombs don't fall on nowhere. But this time, every asset, every screw American has invested outside the United States will be frozen, auctioned, sold, and paid to the Iranian nation. Watch. Same plus Israel. They'll go bankrupt, that they cannot finance any war for centuries to come. The biggest problem is if the state of Israel stays on as it is and the Palestinians don't move back in a coming time. Iran new leader has listen to somebody will listen to what he says. He says Palestine. Palestine includes the present Israel all the way. One of the biggest problems Americans and Israelis always counted on was that Jerusalem would not be touched as the Holy Mosque. The Iranian Sepah has flattened Jerusalem. Now they call it Tel Aviv, the second city up, because they moved the capital to Jerusalem. Is flattened. What they counted on, it will not happen. Iranians won't touch it. They flatten it. Full of workers, full of people. One bomb in the recent past 48 hours has touched over 3,000 people in one go. The calculation is very simple. You don't need to take assumptions. You look at 20-story block, which is normal in Tel Aviv and Israel. 6, sometimes 8 apartments to each one. That's 80 apartments. Jewish families, usually 5, mother, father, 3 children. That's how much. How many people? 8, let's say by 5, that's 40 people per floor, multiplied by 20. 800, 1,000, and a bomb destroys 3, 4, 5 blocks is just a hole. And there are 4 in the safe rooms or in the basement. Then when we say 195,000, you know how correct the count is. The arrogance of safety has become the gas chambers of today for them. It's the second time. Last time they blamed the Germans. This time they blame themselves for gassing themselves to death in the buildings they built security. They don't tell you these things, but as a observers, we count everything. And if this carries on, now the Iranians have gone to one-ton bombs. We'll go to 500,000 Israelis within the next 2 weeks. And there's no defense. Why should so many people die? Because of one man? And trying to confirm the holiness that he is Messiah is gone. Is he alive? Is Bethany alive? Yes,
maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Yeah, it's a terrible situation. I just thought perhaps Iran would use the plasma technology to help protect themselves a little bit more, but
there is a certain, you have to understand the culture. Doesn't matter what they have. We're dealing with a culture which sees martyrdom as a key. We see fanatics, which they see they have to conquer everything to cover everything else, that the Messiah or the Jewish Messiah will come. And look at what's on in the certain part of Iran, in certain offices. The black flag, which is a sign of Mehdi, has been risen in Iran in the past 48 hours. It's not a flag of mourning. This is a flag of Mehdi, which means they reached the point that they think is the time when Messiah comes. You have to look at everything else. The same thing was the son-in-law of Trump is supposed to be, that's what you call it, whatever they call it, before the Christ comes, but Messiah comes.
The Antichrist.
Antichrist. This is not a war of nations, it's a war of religions.
I said to someone, what happened in Iran is the same. Killing of the spiritual leader is no different to, say, someone killing the Pope. That would be, people would react.
We can do, because we are Americans. We can. You have to understand how they pinpointed where everybody else. Nobody knows. We know. We know how they pinpointed the Iranian leaders last time and this time. How many knew he's going to be killed? He put it down as a martyrdom. He knew it cannot be done. We are facing on the surface a national war, but you have to understand the whole of Iranian leadership, all the mullahs are Lebanese, they're not Iranian. They are fighting religious war in a name on behalf of a nation. As I said, the scientists, nuclear physicists are Iranians. The leadership are Iraqis and Lebanese. When you hear Ayatollah, it means they're not Iranian. When you hear mullahs, it means they're Iranian. Iran does not have Ayatollah. Ayatollah was created by the Lebanese who came in centuries ago, and they categorized themselves. Very much like you have Jews and you have Zionism. We have to understand the culture. In Iran, we don't have Ayatollahs. All the mullahs, which is the religious, in Arabic countries, they call it Khalif. In Farsi, we have mullahs. Ayatollahs, word Ayatollah means religious leader, which is not from Iran, from Lebanon and Iraq. Does not live in our vocabulary. Is created And they only marry each other. It's just like, you're in Austria, all the Greeks marry each other, all the Arabs marry each other. It's the same pattern, no difference. They marry their sons and daughters to each other. This is when you say Ayatollah, it means non-Iranian religious leaders. You are third generation Greek in Australia. In Australia, you're still Greek. It's the same. When the when the Arabs attacked Iran and changed everything in Iran, everything has to be changed to Arabic. And they brought a word in Farsi, which is shameful. When I said the word that it means in Arabic means a piece of camel. We call it qaza. The Iranian drink the piece of camel. They said, from now on, you don't say food. You don't say nahar. You don't say khorak or whatever. You say qaza. It means you drink the piece of camel. Then we know you are not Arabs. They brought into culture to do this for humiliation. And this is the same. Ayatollahs are not Iranians. Ayatollahs are Muslims from Lebanon and Syria. And when you hear mullahs, they are trained in Iran, they are religious people.
Very sad situation. Very sad.
I think, as I said, this is the last war of the religions, because with this, the superiority of the superpowers will finish as well. That everybody become equal. We find new solution. The worst condition is if China gets pulled in, and then there'll be a big chaos. You got to wait the 30 days. You got to wait the 30 days and see what happens next. I think 27 days of it left, 28 days of it left, and then we'll see the reaction. The biggest fear of America is if Iran gives bases to China in Iran. And this war will be finished in no time. And this is one of the conditions that the Khamenei has put in. Within 30 days, if we do not get resolution, if we don't get Mr. Netanyahu, if he's alive into ICC, and everything else which is asked, the close the Strait of Hormuz is done, and then the Chinese will weaken military bases in Iran, which is the worst nightmare for the British and Americans. The biggest fear in my report in the past few days is when you corner a cat does something and tries to be protecting itself. It's the use of nuclear warheads on Iran. 10 nuclear warheads plus the ignition system from British reserves have been moved into British air bases in England. If they use those 10, we know where it might be used, then they claim that we hit the nuclear bunkers and they went, it's nothing to do with us. Like the way they hit the school and they said the Iranian net shrapnel shot, will show this is the American nuclear bombs in the Israelis. The biggest problem is that the Israeli nuclear center where all the bombs developed in Jordan Valley was initially bombed by the Israelis themselves to have an excuse that the Iranians hit it, but now it's leaked radiation. And they're trying to blame the Iranians. That the Israelis did themselves, they tried to blow the top, but they lost control. Many Israeli scientists have died. And a lot of radiation. You will see a report asking the whole of Jordan Valley, Palestinians, people in Malta, people in Cyprus, trying to measure radiation. We have a Chernobyl situation in Jordan Valley at the moment. We release an article very soon. We are waiting for approval that we can release the article.
Can the Keshe Foundation resolve this radiation with technology?
We are on the standby for all, even if they hit Iran. We ask if you live in Palestine, if you live in Jordan, if you live, you're Iranians who live in Iran, you're in Syria. We have a lot of Syrian knowledge seekers. Ask your families. People in Cyprus and Keshe Foundation in Malta start observing radiation dosage in there. A report. IAEA has been told they cannot do, and the head of the IAEA is a Jewish guy, Dr. Grossi. They're covering. But if you will live, ask your governments, especially in Malta, in Cyprus, in Iraq, in Syria, in Jordan, in Israel, in Palestine, start measuring radiation dosage. I think we have a Chernobyl situation. Article has written, awaiting approval to go through. Very, very serious.
The sooner the plasma technology is implemented.
We're done with Fukushima. We have the technology. As we know, the place is called Diamona in Israel. It is known previously as in the name of what we call one of the Israeli leaders, but is known by the village near to it. And I'll read you part of the text, so you might see it very soon. We are inclined to believe that the Israel itself has blown the research center and its nuclear reactor as an excuse to blame Iran for this, giving them a reason, an excuse to attack Iran with the nuclear arsenal on the later day, through with this cover-up an excuse. We are concerned that the residents of Jordan Valley in Israel can be and are contaminated, and a large number of Israeli citizens could be affected, and some already received large dosages of high-grade nuclear material in their body, the land they live on. We are requesting that all those who are living around Israel, Malta, Cyprus, to start measuring and monitoring radiation levels and report it internationally, so that no more innocent lives are in danger, and they can stop any further fatality. We request IAEA to release data about the leakage levels at this site, and to release data about contamination of Santa Maria Nuclear Center. It's been blown up by the Israelis themselves, an excuse. And now, in the past 48 hours, 24 hours, they're trying to say Iranian missile has hit it. These contamination levels can be worse than Chernobyl and Fukushima disaster. But together, as Israel has been enriching plutonium in this reactor for their nuclear bomb program, this can be much worse.
Is the plutonium very, very dangerous thing?
It's the initiation of the nuclear warheads. And said we are already part of the text when we released. And then when it's released, you understand where it comes from. If you live in Malta, don't forget, In 1986, when Chernobyl blew up, the Russians denied it for a few days, if you remember. Only when the Germans, when the British, when the French, when the people in Holland start measuring the pollution in the atmosphere, they start pressurizing, and the Chernobyl became the cause of the breakup of the Russia. Because for the first time, the Russian presence says we need help from outside. And when the help came, the rest opened up, and that was the beginning of the breakup of the Russia. This, if it's happened, it'll be then, because the Israelis cannot live there anymore. The Holy Land becomes a Holy Land. And that's why we are asking. This research center of all the nuclear materials of Israel has been hit by themselves, blown up by themselves to create it. They did the 3 mile, what do you call it, the 2 towers. They have records of these things to do, to blame and then to use it. But this time the hand is open, they've done it themselves. They, somehow they miscalculated it. And the explosion has killed hundreds of scientists, hundreds of Israeli citizens within the area. And they did this about 10 days ago, first couple of days after the war. And for an excuse to do it, Israeli Americans don't have a license to bomb Iran nuclear-wise. Now they want to use what they did to excuse that Iran, one of the Iran missiles is hit, to start hitting Iran with nuclear material. Now, you know more than you're supposed to know, knowledge seekers. But you will see this on the international, the press release for it is there. We are waiting for approval that we can publish it.
Thank you, Mr. Cash.
You're welcome. If you live in Malta, knowledge seekers, if you live in Cyprus, knowledge seekers, you live around Mediterranean countries, Greece, Turkey, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Israel itself, start measuring radiation level. It must be high and report it. And then we evacuated Chernobyl area. We have to evacuate Palestine from all the Israelis. Any other question?
I think we can go to Azar now. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Cash. Mr. Cash, when the prophets came, God sent them like Moses, then Jesus, and then Muhammad, and they all showed up in Middle East. Okay, so God want to send a message to people.
Wait. We have prophets in China or religious leaders we have in South America.
Yeah, okay, so
Africa,
yeah.
so we only know the ones which are troublemakers, the big ones.
Yeah. Okay, so my point is, look, so they came to give a message, how to live, how to be a better, how to know that you're God or you're the image of God. But then now we're moving away from this. We say, okay, these are just a trap for us to be trapped. So the message was the correct message, but what the human did is wrong. So my question is, when you say pray for your system or pray whatever you want to do, pray for it. So you see, when I want to pray, I go back to what my grandmother taught me. So I want to pray. So when I want to, I mean, I don't understand Arabic now because I used to when I was in a school. I used to know all of it. I remember it. It was when I was 13, 14. So now when I want to pray for something, my system, and I'm making, I have to translate some of the Arabic thing to my English and then play for my system. So now I
Yeah,
say,
wait,
okay,
wait, wait,
okay.
wait,
So
wait, wait,
can I
wait,
finish,
wait.
please?
Yeah, okay, go. I'll tell you.
Can I finish, please? So when I want to play for my system, I understand where you're going because you're just like me. You know what I want to say and you want to answer it, but I don't have to say what I have to say. So, and then I'm confused when I play, then I feel guilty. I said I have to move from religion, so I'm going to play for my system. And then this guy Hashimoto made a test about when you go pick up water by the churches when they play or by factories. Or recently I saw another organization, they tested when they were reciting Arabic word from Quran, the water molecule becomes so beautiful. When they do rock music, it becomes very sharp and ugly. So then I'm thinking, so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to play or not play? Or I'm just kind of,
Yeah,
don't
okay,
know.
okay. Let me tell you something to answer you forever. What is the emotion for you? And in what emotion or what emotion does that prayer create in you? Remember that emotion. You don't need to use the word Arabic, English, or anything else. Why do we pray? Because we give, it's an emotion of love. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, does it need to have a language?
No.
So, why do you try to pray in Arabic? Do you say I love you to your husband in Arabic?
No.
So, you touch him, he feels your emotion. You have a gorgeous husband. Yeah?
Yeah.
When you touch him, do you need to tell him? No, he feels your love, he feels your emotion. Love does not have a language. Love has a field which is felt.
Yeah.
When you sit in front of a person, your heart drops. Somebody touches you, and that touch, 1 millisecond, changes your life. Does he speak Arabic?
No.
So, why do you need to pray in a language?
Yeah.
We have to learn the emotion. What is a giving? I give from my life to you for you to do. I walked in one of our research centers very recently, and there were systems running. And first thing went to my mind, have we given from our soul to it? When you research, the way I used to, and I tried to take it to our knowledge seekers and our researchers, is I give the love, I give life to you. And then tests were totally different. It was just like the machine controlling everything. It was just, I was there because I respect his existence. I was expecting to get this result, to give me another result. So, oh, that's what it does, not what I wanted. You understand?
Yeah.
It is, we deal with the condition that love has no language. Why should we have a prayer for a language? For love.
So, Mr. Kesh, when we, for example, when I started to get to know Paramahansa Yogananda, which is one of the gurus in India, I just started to read all his books, and what happened sometimes when I even think about his name, it happened a couple of times. Now it doesn't happen anymore. I start cry. So much emotion comes to me, and I cry and cry and cry. What is that? Somebody can
No,
take any.
because you have emotion and they feel the same field as strength. And that's what it is. You can't change it. and you feel it when it's not there.
And then I was talking to a scientist. He studies stars, and then he was talking to me about when the three wise men from Iran, they saw the star of Jesus that's going to be born. They were also understood the movement of a star, and they knew somebody is going to be born that is going to be a prophet. So this guy was talking to me. He's a scientist, but he's a scientist of stars. He said to me something very strange, because then I said, so what's the point of all these things we do? He said to me, like, for example, he said the time and the place you were born decides. He gave me an example. He said Bin Laden. The timing he was born, he was supposed to kill all these people because something about his fish was going downward or something. And then Justin Bieber, I don't know who is Justin Bieber, but he said, for example, he is the same, but in a different way, he would make something out of himself. So then I said to him, so if somebody born that way, he says, okay, so that person born that way, he's supposed to kill. I said, so if that person is supposed to kill, why do we call him guilty of his killing? Because it's not his fault then. So if it's not their fault, so what should we do with them?
Justin Bieber is a singer, and a lot
Okay.
of girls go crazy for him.
Okay, I didn't know that.
We are affected by the fields of place and time and position we are born. Then the rest of it is what you want to read into it. And what we believe in, and what we want to believe in. And the rest of it is, if you understand it, then we can interpret it.
Because God created everything. So God created Netanyahu too. So if he's killing, maybe it has to do with the time he was born. So he's not, when he's small, he doesn't know what he's doing then.
You see, there is very strange. We common people don't understand. But sit back and understand. This is something current, and I'm sure some of you are aware of it. The Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, all waiting now in 2026, 27, 25 for Messiah to come. All three of them. It's in their books. There is a recording of, I don't know if some of you know or not, the whole 40–50% of the world economy and politics is controlled by 7 Jewish guys. They usually travel together, and in one position, very recently, in past year or so, they come across a very influential man, and the question they ask him is, did he ask for support? And one of them says, we supported you and you promised the Messiah will come. And you're asking for more money. Where is he? And it's recorded by security people. They categorically are spending money to find Messiah. The same as I told you, you just go on the Iranian news, on everywhere, they start putting the black flag. Black flag is usually the sign of mourning. But this black flag, with what's written on it, is the awakening for the coming of Messiah. Is Mehdi is supposed to appear any time. To start putting flags for it. Khamenei established the army for coming of Mehdi. There are people who was prepared by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard to protect him. They're enforced, they're on the streets of Tehran. Jews are doing the same. Vatican is spending huge amount of money for it to come. But do you know what it is when it comes? They denied because then they have no position. The minute Muhammad, Mehdi comes or Mashar comes, was the position of the religious people. Was the real position of Ayatollahs and mullahs. They have no, and they won't let it go. You have to prove, because then I can't take what I'm taking. The same with the Vatican. The biggest deniers will be the ones who are waiting for it, because then they have no position. Vatican doesn't exist, give it back to Rome. What do you call it? Najaf, Karbala, and Mecca don't exist because now he's here, it's gone. Jerusalem has no value because it's gone, he's here. You think they're going to give up? The ones who are after it are actually the people who deny it, because otherwise they have no position. This is the problem. Nobody will be, because, and then what, if the Muslims say, yes, the Mahdi is here, because his flag is up now in Iran for the first time this week. We haven't seen this before. If they say, now would the Jews accept this is the same Mahdi as the Mashar they're waiting for, and the same thing as, what they call it, the Christians are waiting for. Now you got to get them to accept it, because now would they accept to let go? This is the story of man. Ask your family to send you the pictures of black pictures of the flags, which are, and they are huge, these flags, some of them, with the writing on it that this time for manifestation of Messiah.
But Mr. Kesh, when Jews were asking for Messiah, when Jesus came, he was the Messiah and they killed him.
So wait for the next one. They do the same with him.
Because they said because it has to come from one of the upper class Pharisees in order to become Messiah, because it wasn't supposed to come from
Yeah, but you have now to get this, whoever this poor guy is, to be accepted by the Muslims, and then the Jews have to accept it, and the Christians, so they're all the same. So there is no religion, there will be peace on earth. For the ones who believe in this lot, what are you going to do with the Buddhists then? They're going to go to the other lot in China and the ones in South America. How are you going to the rest to accept this is the one? Because they are now waiting for it. It's supposed to come in 1,000 years.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
You're welcome. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Shall we call it a day? We've been at it for too long.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much for today. And I hope we still are here and we still can have a session. Next session next week is at 6 o'clock Central European time in the afternoon. And don't forget the 21st of March, we're hoping that our people are ready for release of the Enlightenment and Peace game. As a game opened up, if they can complete it, we hope so. And it'll be sometime next Thursday, the eve of the Persian New Year. We hope we celebrate together a new beginning. Thank you very much for being with us, and see you next week.
All right, great. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you once again for another Knowledge Seekers Workshop here, number 633, here on Thursday, March 12th, 2026. And just a double reminder, as Mr. Kesh mentioned, our next Knowledge Seekers Workshop will start at the 6 p.m. Central European time instead of the 9 a.m. time. Okay, public teaching workshop. Let me get the calendar up here so I see what's going on. It'll be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, and that comes up on Tuesday, the 17th of March. And that'll be with members and support members of the Universal Council. If folks would like to attend and listen in on some of the soul-based aspects of the teachings. Let me see what else we have here. Oh, I've got to check my Telegram for a minute here. Just bear with me. Yes. A message from the Universal Council to deliver. And just let me put that up first. Okay, so the message from the Universal Council, by way of Lissy, it says, "We, the Universal Council, invite the Kesh and Universal family present on the earth in unifying at the soul level every time, every day, at 9 p.m. Central European Time, Central European Summer Time. Giving from our field strengths to enlighten the souls of world leaders, to negotiate and sign the World Peace Treaty, pledging their nations to everlasting peace on earth and throughout the universe." Okay, thank you, Lissy. And that's our message from Universal Council. So that completes our program for today. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And we'll go out with our usual manner, hopefully, if it plays correctly, because I'm short on bandwidth here and it might be rather choppy. But we'll give it a try with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit. And clap and dance your way into the day, and bye for now.